I want to thank the junior senator from Alaska, and I appreciate him joining me in this most important effort and the leadership that he has demonstrated on this issue. As the junior senator from Alaska knows, the Ninth Circuit Court is broken. It is overburdened, and it's unable to provide quality service and expeditious justice to the Americans it is supposed to serve. When we offer the Pledge of Allegiance, we close with "and justice for all." As I frequently tell my staff, we in public service are ultimately in the customer service business. As U.S. Senators, our number one job is to represent and to serve the people in our states. Our courts should reflect the same serving mentality as they uphold their responsibility to justice. But when our courts are overburdened and overworked, it's the American people who are left underserved and waiting far too long for justice. Unfortunately, under the current structure, the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals is unable to provide Americans in the West with the service they deserve. Take a look at this chart behind me. At 64.4 million people served, the current Ninth Circuit is the largest circuit by population, as well as the largest land area. As the junior senator from Alaska will sometimes remind us, if they divide Alaska in two, Texas is the third largest state in the nation. But it's not just about the geographical size of the West. Look at the number of people that are served here in the Ninth Circuit. It includes Montana and Alaska. It includes Washington, Oregon, Idaho, Nevada, Arizona, California, and Hawaii, not to mention several U.S. territories, Guam, and the Northern Mariana Islands. That alone amounts to 20% of the nation's population. So let's put this in context. That's 85% larger than the next largest circuit, which serves just 34.8 million people. And this chart illustrates that well. Needless to say, the Ninth Circuit's caseload is significantly greater than any other circuit. And that means backlogs and that means delays. But not only is it larger, it's disproportionately larger. On average, the Ninth Circuit has had more than 32% of all cases pending nationally. As the junior senator from Alaska mentioned, it currently has over 14,000 cases pending. And as you can see in this next chart behind me, that is 3 times more than the next closest circuit, the Fifth Circuit, which has around 4,700 cases pending. Processing all of these cases takes time. In fact, on average, over the last 5 years, nearly 15 months from appeal to termination. It's time to take a serious look at how our court system can better serve the American people. And that's why Senator Sullivan and I have introduced 2 separate bills to address these challenges. Our bills would bring much-needed reform not just to the Ninth Circuit, but also to the entire Federal Circuit Courts of Appeals system. The Circuit Court of Appeals Restructuring and Modernization Act would split the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals into 2 circuits, and it provides a more manageable balance of population and geography for both circuits so that Western Americans can be better served by our courts. The Federal Courts of Appeals Modernization Act would establish a commission to study the Federal Circuit Courts of Appeals system and identify changes needed to promote an expeditious and effective disposition of the Ninth Circuit caseload. Now keep this in mind. When we split the circuits into a new Ninth Circuit and the 12th Circuit, the Ninth Circuit would still have a larger caseload than any other circuit. In the new Ninth Circuit's jurisdiction, there would be 40.8 million people, it would continue to maintain its status as first in population. In the 12th Circuit jurisdiction, this new circuit we would establish, there would be 24.3 million people, which makes it the 7th largest in population among the circuits. It's just a little bit below the average. Those numbers alone should make it clear that reforms are needed. And it's worth remembering that the challenges facing the Ninth Circuit have been long-standing, and the efforts to find solutions are bipartisan. In fact, two prior commissions, one in 1973 and the other in 1998, which, by the way, was championed by California Senator Dianne Feinstein, both determined that the Ninth Circuit had an overly burdensome size and scope and suggested that changes need to be made to the structure of the federal courts of appeal. So it's time to move forward with concrete solutions to address this problem. The bills introduced by the junior senator from Alaska and myself will do so. I was trained as an engineer. As an engineer, you identify a problem, but the most important thing you do is you find the solution. We have a constraint. We have a capacity constraint which can be alleviated. We think about our communities. As our communities grow, we need to add more schools, add more teachers, add more police officers. We need to ensure that all Americans have access to the justice that they deserve. It's time to split the Ninth Circuit. I want to thank the junior senator from Alaska for championing this important issue, and I look forward to working with you to find the remedy and solution.
And I